Hello! The majority of people watching this are likely my classmates and other students, which means that by the time you are probably again watching this, we have finals in about 2 weeks, give or take a couple days. And with that in mind, it's kind of a semi-big deal, especially if your class is like, 25% of your final grade is the final exam or test or, essay or whatever. And considering that, I have some things that I've heard and that I want to pass on. Specifically math. I know that a lot of people get stressed out about their math finals, and in order to study for that, I hear that a mistake being made a lot, just looking at the definitions and examples and stuff, when in reality, you should probably be, this is in the words of my math teacher right now, you should be looking over the problems you've done in the past in homework, because doing those problems will help you in order to, see where you need to improve and what you have to work on and what you don't quite understand. And if you study the homework that you've done in the past, it's going to help you, re-perform those exact calculations or, theorems or whatever in the final exam. Now about other subjects, right, science or astronomy or psychology or things that are more like text heavy or information heavy, when you study for those, there's a specific way that you can really you can study from the textbook, right? It involves passes, and I saw this awesome video about how to read a textbook, but in summary, you want to be looking at first the titles. You want to be thinking, oh, what does that title mean? What does this heading mean? Subjects and stuff. So for example, if you were looking at a schizophrenia textbook page, one of them might be symptoms of schizophrenia, treatment of schizophrenia, and all these other things. And when you look at that, you want to consider, what does that really mean? Same thing with science, like the water cycle. What is the liquid cycle in the water cycle? What is the gas state in the water cycle, etc., etc. And as you look at those titles, you look at the pictures after that, and then you keep, breaking down the thing from titles to pictures to graphs to actually reading it. Because if you read it like a book from left to right, it'll be a lot harder to comprehend or memorize the information, which is obviously not what you want to do if you're trying to get a deeper understanding to apply it to an essay or an exam or something like that, right? Just a final that's going to mean a lot to your grade. And in terms of that type of studying, you want to have a kind of schedule going on, especially because if you spend too much time, just staring at a page, it'll harm you in the future. Because one, studying for like an hour or 2 hours straight with no break, that's going to be bad for you in the long run. You're going to be mentally fatiguing yourself, just like how if you exercised for an hour straight without any break and no training, you would definitely be hurting yourself in the long run. So what I like to do is take little 30 to 45 minutes of hard studying. So I'm not focused on getting through the entire textbook. Studying is studying no matter what you're doing, even if that's just, thinking about the topic and, intensely, because that type of learning is going to help you memorize it better and understand it better or more completely. And then you want to take a 15-minute break doing something you enjoy. That efficiency would mean 45 on, 15 off, would be 75% of your time is spent studying, and 15% of your time is, 25% of your time is spent studying, and you do that for 4 reps, or 4, sets, then you have, great efficiency. 75% efficiency is pretty great for studying, especially if you can't usually study for 45, 90, 100, 3 hours straight, right? 3 hours straight is a lot of studying to do in one, sitting, but if you break it into 45-minute increments across 4 hours, it'll serve you a lot better in the long run, because you're not mentally fatiguing yourself as much. And considering that a lot of people cram the night before, I myself am guilty of that, but you want to be getting a lot of sleep, both the day prior and the 2 days prior. Because sleep, I was reading this in my textbook, sleep will help you memorize those things and complete and move them into long-term storage for your exam or whatever. Because if you're if you're a Spanish speaker, you're learning Spanish in your Spanish class, studying all these participles and and the syntax the night before is going to be great for regurgitating it, but not for long-term higher level classes. So if you get a good night's rest, especially just in general, you'll be able to commit that stuff to long-term memory for more efficiency in higher level classes. And in general, it'll just be better for your memory because, once again, this is a paraphrase from my textbook. If you spend the night before studying, then you're not going to be getting enough sleep, and your recalling of previous information will actually deteriorate. Like, the quality will decrease drastically. If you're running on 4 hours of sleep, not usually the statistically greatest. So, considering all of that, don't cram. You want to spend a lot of time thinking or planning about your studying maybe a week, 2 weeks before, which is exactly now. We're in the middle of this week, which means that you'll have a lot of time to plan out this day, this time, this weekend, etc., etc. Just keep those things in mind. So good luck. You got it.